Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with,
Uncle Spoke.
and this is a Strong Perspective Podcast. Our other host, Damon Armstrong, is taking care of more important business, you know, being exalted for who he is and what he's done. So we're happy for him. And Damon, you take care and do your thing, brother. Do your thing. Enjoy. You deserve it.
Deserve it. Deserve
You do us a favor. We're in the process of revamping everything as far as uh, doing some studying to get this podcast known because we got a lot of content that that really and truly people will be interested in and will benefit from. You know, shit. You know how I know that, Jacquari? Because I asked Chat CPT,
it.
and it said, "Yo, you got good content, and people will love it." But you need to change these couple things on your YouTube channel so people can see it, so you can be thrown in the algorithm. So I'm going to really and truly spend this weekend figuring out what they're saying, studying on what the ciphers are that's going to get my arithmetic together so we can have that exposure that we deserve. But do us a favor in the meantime, in between time. Go like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share with your people. Let them know what we do, how we do. We go live every Friday at 7:35, folks. With that being said, it's all love. Corey, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. So it's Chat GBT. I thought it was Chat Good Chat.
First of all, I
Like
didn't get I didn't get the letters right,
oh,
and I get your joke, and that was pretty funny.
yes, yeah. I thought it was an Indian company.
Oh, whoa, my man.
What? It sounds like Indian last name. I'm doing well, man. Had a pretty good day. The week ended. My work week ended on a strong note, which is always a good thing, man. I set myself up
Always,
for a pretty good start next week.
always. And that's what it is because see the thing about it is our measuring stick is skewed because what we try to do is build our measuring stick on falsified numbers. I think
Mm.
you know
Absolutely.
um, we're told, hey, you should be this and you should be that. I'm talking about business, personal, work life. There's a structure that they want. What we inadvertently want to follow
Hmm.
or have to follow or think we should follow, and it gets to that point where it's flawed. It is flawed, you know. And one day we're going to do a podcast on why I think it's flawed, and I'll help you guys to understand where I'm coming from before we get on. But it's flawed in the simple sense of this: it's so broad. Like they say, United States is what do the folks who come in? The United States is fuck it for lack of a better thing, land of milk and honey. It's another phrase that I'm forgetting right
Man,
now.
man is free, home free.
Yeah, streets paved with gold. All these different things, right? And someone with common sense knows it's not necessarily true. And what's not necessarily true is hard work will get you where you need to be. Consistency will make you will get you where you need to be. No, consistency, in my opinion, will help you to hold on to what you had, right? But God's blessing, right, and opportunities come in segments. And hopefully we recognize what that opportunity is and we go after it. And that's what it means, Jacquari. I'm like, look, It's not necessarily a fallacy, but it's much harder than most folks think. If you not, you know what your problem is. You're not working hard. Oh, that ain't true. That couldn't be true because there'd be so many people who would have made it out
I mean,
who would be
the rhythm.
living.
Oh, go ahead.
No, no, I was done.
Over the last couple of hundred years, man, the rhythm of our lives has changed so much, man. And everything that we know to be traditional nowadays is a very whimsically bastardized version of what it was in the past and what everybody thought it was in the past, right? You know, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, yeah, uh, it's noble. It's not
Yeah,
necessary. You know, it ain't necessarily necessary. You know, people like you just said. You know, to work hard, man. Wake up in the morning early and go out and work hard all day, and you build something. Everybody ain't got to do it like that. You know, we don't even
everybody
feel.
don't. Everybody don't have to do it like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, but we don't even rest like they did in the old days. You know? 8 hours of sleep. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
8 hours of sleep is a good thing or whatever, but you know, our forefathers didn't necessarily do it. You know, I mean, you think about the quality of uh, American craftsmanship and American products or whatever. Back in the day, people were willing to wait for those things. You know, but as time progressed, you know, I didn't have to wait uh freaking what 6 months to get to get a Louis Vuitton suitcase, for instance, or whatever. You know, they manufacture them on an assembly line, so I can have it. I can have it right now. You know,
mm.
quality and again craftsmanship, man, and time and tradition. It's they slowly been choked out of the fabric of our society, and we don't have those things. Everything is
Shortcuts.
everything everything is microwavable. And shortcuts aren't necessarily a good thing. You know,
They're
shortcuts are not
not.
necessarily a good thing.
I don't think they're a good thing, and this is my personal opinion. I don't think they're a good thing if you're working with a long-term situation. Like shortcuts when it comes to building wealth, right? A shortcut can stimulate, throw a lot of stimulus into your wealth, but it's not sustainable. But if you go the same route and you do it bit by bit and you build a foundation, you build that thing, then that, like I just said earlier, hard work helps you to keep what you have, right? But it's not necessarily a guarantee that hard work will make you step up to the next tier because it has to do with relationships, it has to do with opportunity, being in a moment, you know what I'm saying? And a great idea. I mean, it's just, I think what we do, you said it earlier, microwavable stuff. But and I add on to that shortcuts. Doing the shortcut, man. You know, because that's the sad thing about it is shortcuts are good, but the thing about a shortcut is understand what you're shortcutting and gain that knowledge so when you see it again, it won't throw your momentum off. I mean that's
I
that's
mean,
that's just how I see it.
the whole concept of a shortcut, man. Take Lewis and Clark for instance, man. Didn't they start their expedition in the name of finding a shortcut, uh, a quicker route out west or whatever? You think about all the places that they explored. You know, I don't think that was supposed to be a long trip at all, but it turned into. You know,
I
sometimes
don't
you
think
know,
it's shortcut through the what mountains are is the mountain range out there. They was looking for a shortcut through there, but they understood the miles to go, the possibility of the miles to go. You know what I mean? This is why they had native guides to show them how to get through those mountain passes instead of the way people been going through trying to get through, where you get stuck on the bluff. Now you got to chew on the people who passed on before you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
But you gotta, I mean, you gotta study the topography of the land. You know, you got to become intimate with, you know, the passage, the long way. You know, shortcuts, even if you know a shortcut exists, sometimes you know it's absolutely necessary for you to avoid the shortcut. For you not to go the easy route. I think that's one of the things that our community has suffered from, you know, since the civil rights era or whatever. You know, we always have conversations about what the problems are, man, but you know, solutions, you know, they come very few and far between. Very very few solutions that we haven't really, as a black community, something that's created by a black mind, and in the name of expansion to whatever we got going on in our household. We don't put a lot of time into cultivating those things, man. Look what the Panthers did with, you know, with breakfast programs or whatever, you know, and that shit became the model of breakfast programs throughout the whole goddamn American school system or whatever. But
yeah.
it didn't happen overnight. You know, we're too quick to come up with a decent idea, and after, you know, after we implement that idea, if it doesn't explode within whatever period of time we deem uh, necessary for it to blossom or whatever, then we dash it to the rocks and we move on to the next
I
thing.
get it. I get it.
But
I,
you know, even a bad idea needs to be worked.
at least addressed. Now, it's not fair that you brought up the Panthers, and this is my opinion, because the Panthers brought up they made up the breakfast program for one thing, to feed black minds, right? Because they felt in the party, they felt that we were in the middle of a revolution. There was revolutionary thinking, and it started in Chicago, right? So the thing about it is, you can be right, but our reasoning for being right, and that's why I even brought it up, because those breakfast programs, those other social programs that the Panthers in Chicago wanted to implement and what had going on had to do with survival. Because you know, if you nourish the minds of our young ones, our elementary age students, they're going to grow up strong to be able to contribute to our freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree, man. And I'm not sure if this component was addressed or not, man. But you know, we can feed our children and make sure they grow up, you know, strong enough to pick up the cause and everything. But we got to make sure that they understand why that needed to happen in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. I think that when it came to, this is my humble opinion, when it came to different movements in the 60s and 70s, right? When leaders were assassinated, we had nobody to pick up the baton and keep going to the next person in the relay. When MLK got assassinated, really and truly, nobody was willing to listen to any of the people who was walking with him. Only in their areas, in Atlanta, Birmingham, or whatever, right? But nationally, had nobody to pick up the baton to take it. So what we ended up doing was, the people who was influenced and all these different things, and really and truly that foundation, They still were alive, which was millions of us, right? But they had a hard time choosing a leader, which is crazy because it was a machine, a civil rights machine that accomplished the things that happened. Martin Luther King was a he was an advocate for it. He was the face of it, but people felt like he was the one who invented it all, even though he was thrust into it. See, most people don't get that. He was thrust into it. It wasn't not like he was sitting at his kitchen table and he sat around with Abernathy and Young and all them cats and all the different cats writing like, you know what? I know. You know what we need to do? You know what I'm saying? No, he was convinced to speak out because of his charisma, because of the way people, black, white, brown, and yellow, saw him when he spoke. They saw him, perceived his energy, they perceived who he was, but he spoke about something that was already in place.
Yeah, I mean,
But go ahead.
you know what I'm saying? And the fact that he was a preacher didn't take away from the situation either. I mean,
Hmm.
he used to being an orator.
Hmm.
I mean, but you think about other, let's say, political movements throughout the country or whatever. They had a face, but they were more inclined to chase political aspirations or whatever. When I say political, I mean actual office.
I think it. I slightly I understand where you're coming from. I slightly disagree. I think that they had a regional strength, right? It was all regional, but because John F. Kennedy spoke with Martin Luther King personally, right? He became the face of it all. But really and truly, it was a lot of groups in the civil rights movement. You see, most people don't get that. It was a lot of groups that people, and I think it had to do with the education of us more than anything. Well, Martin Luther King, his civil rights movement. Oh, it was so many. The college students, SNCC, um, just the folks who was down there before before and during Medgar Evers, before he was assassinated. Those folks who's really and truly in the fight. You feel me?
Mhm.
But history books, whether they did it on purpose or not, they omitted the meat of everything. I think. You know, you said something earlier. We were talking about it. Can you remember what you said before we came live, as far as expectations of a wife to a husband and vice versa? Can you
Like
speak on it? Can you form it into a question?
yeah, like in the in the paradigm of parenthood, is it a given that the mother of the child is like naturally inclined to facilitate a better relationship between the father and the child?
Hmm.
Is it naturally the mother's responsibility to keep that abreast of what's going on, well, everything that's going on in the child, in the child's life, especially if dad's not in the house.
What do you mean not in the house? You mean them being separated or him
Yeah.
being at work?
Well, I mean, separation.
Okay.
Say she might have, uh, physical custody more of the time. You
Okay.
know, how much effort do you believe she is obligated to do to like keep that up on everything that's going on, in the child's life or whatever. Because I mean, I, rarely did I have conversations with my child, man, about about homework, about social life, or anything like that. But anything I needed to know, I got it from my mother.
Okay. My response to that is I think that you and your wife are partners when it comes to raising your children. So your wife definitely, I'm speaking from if you were a couple, right? First, your wife definitely has to be like, yo, this is what Junior and Junine said to me today, and this is what she's going through, this, that, and the other. And you discuss it so you can have a game plan, right? And I think this is extreme when I say single mothers with a child, and she has a good relationship with the child's father, right? Yes, you still need to have a communication link to him to talk about what's going on. Because if you don't, it becomes an adversarial thing. Inadvertently, it becomes adversarial because children are so immature. They're going to see that and they're going to formulate that it's adversarial in their minds when it's not, because he's not here. You know what I mean? Or say if the mother and father don't have the best relationship, and her being immature, and this is not always the case, but her being immature will talk shit about the dad, shit that she don't mean, but it's frustration coming out, manifesting itself. You feel me? So to answer your question, yes, yes, from both perspectives, yes, talk, because your main goal is to raise this young man and this young woman into adulthood so they can take care of your grandchildren.
Yeah, and I get it, man. In an ideal world, man, that would certainly be the case. But in a lot of marital households, especially in a lot of situations where people just have children together, they're not married, man. I don't know,
But see,
man.
that's the thing. That's a small percent to me. To me, that's a small percentage, and
And
that's
I,
a selfish parent. That's a selfish parent. The mother is being selfish because she's throwing her feelings into the child being raised, if he stand with the dad, it's the same thing. He's throwing his feelings into it if he don't communicate what is going on.
yeah, but society doesn't put out a lot of examples of successful co-parenthood between unmarried people.
They're not going to do it, Jacquard. They're not going to do it. You want to know why? Because that's the right thing to do. You understand? People people do things for the news. We get a small listen. When it's a man and woman with domestic things, that exists, right? But it is outnumbered triple, quadruple, 10 times more that is no BS as far as domestic violence stuff. But this is what's projected to us. You know what I mean? So if I take being an ex law enforcement officer, for example, every call that I went on, 98% of them was negative because that was my job. My job is to be the band-aid, be the cure, mostly the band-aid, be the cure, be whatever it takes to get that situation, that call, get as smooth as possible before I leave. right? But that's not every home. See, I think that's where we make the mistake, man. We make the mistake into thinking that, especially in law enforcement, that all we see is this. So that's all that exists at all, which is not true. It's so far from the truth. It's not funny. When you're on the way to your call, right? Whether it's a hot call, whether it's just a simple call, when you're on the way to your call, think about how many people, and I'm going to use our community, for example, how many black men and women you drive past that you look at in their vehicles, standing on the street, have are doing the right thing. That's the majority of your life. You know what I'm saying? It's the majority of your life. And I'm not saying that that's not a problem. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, yes, I addressed it. Yes, I made sure that everybody was safe and all this. That's not the point. The point is, don't get overwhelmed by, and it's not propaganda. Don't get overwhelmed by your view of your little small picture.
The surface, the surface of things have become all important, though, man. I mean, you know,
Because
everything.
what? Why do you think it became important?
Uh,
Because we're starving for it. We're starving for information. So what information do we get? What information does the algorithm provide for us, for the news source provide to us? What's the information that they give us? It's seldom good shit because that's what we eat off of as far as our attention. This is how those news surface sources survive, right? They survive off of that.
yeah, I mean, but even that, man, the way we gather information is so skewed, man. I don't want to get into that. I mean, we could tailor we could tailor our information so all that we get is shit that we agree with. That's
Yeah.
not growth. That's not growth. It's
As a
absolutely
matter
not
of fact,
growth. Anything,
as a
man, that
ma-
I feel. No, go ahead.
go ahead, Jaquan. I'm listening.
No, I was just gonna say anything that I feel concrete on, man. I'm willing to stand it up to that scrutiny. If I feel passionate about something and I know in my heart of hearts that this is right, hell, I'll debate about it all day. But
Hmm.
I'm willing to take any information.
You think about to your point, right? Google gives you what they think you want to see. So if you searching on Google, and I think they're a part of the YouTube community too. They're definitely a part of IG because they really and truly throw things into your phone or your laptop or your computer where they think you want to see.
It's always everything is always heavy on the pros, man. But what I started doing lately in regards to Google, because I still use it, but whatever I'm researching, man, I look for the negatives first.
Of course, of course. I mean, it's a lot because what Google's and the chat GPT does is it gives you the information that it sends you is not definite information. It draws from every source that it has, which is billions of sources, right? And it formulates something that's around the question that you ask.
I mean, see,
You know,
your description right there, man. I mean, chat, the chat shit, Google, fucking whatever search engine, man, you use nowadays, it's just an extension of a fucking magic 8 ball,
of course,
basically.
because it has this. That's what the thing about it is. Their resources, all the information that's ever put into Google. I'm talking about from 30 years back, but all the information that's ever put in social media, everything. And it's so quick that it will come up with something that that's formulated with the question that you ask. Like it's good information. Say if you want to say if it's about stock market, say if it's about your home, whether or not you want to what you want to do with your home, whether you want your name on your home or not, it will give you the straight up or look, this is what you should do with your home because of the information that's given to it. Because there's so much truth in social media universe, but there's a lot of falsehood too.
And then, man, you get into the phenomenon where you can have all the information to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish, whatever. But usually, when we get stuff like that, we sit on it. We sit on it, and we don't do anything with it.
You know what
Feel
I'm
sat,
learning, Jaquar?
feel satisfied with the fact that we did the research and came up with some shit that worked for other people.
You want to know what I'm learning, bro? There is no shortcut. There is no magic bullet. There's just information. Sometimes we're blessed, like with YouTube, right? If we're doing the DIY, sometimes we're blessed that the DIY, because what YouTube is about, you're gonna find a way to repair whatever you punch in. And that's real shit. Like, yo, this is how you repair this shit. You feel what I'm saying? So that's there. And I think that when we get caught up in the other thing is understanding it's a resource. That's it. It's a resource for you to make the best decision that you can. You know?
The world, I mean, everything's happening in the ass backward fashion, man. Because in back in the days, man, as I said before, man, people created things out of trial and error, and it wasn't a lot of information gathered because they had to create shit. But now, we got all of the information in the world, and we stand around and have these discussions around the water cooler with no practical application. It's like I don't like guns and stuff. I don't talk about guns. I read a lot about guns and what's going on here and what's going on there, or whatever. But I don't talk about it because I'm not at the range doing that shit.
Yeah. I think when it comes to tools, construction, and other things, but mostly the practical, hands-on kind of thing, you can't lose with YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't. You just can't use it. You can't lose. You can't lose because what it does is they got somebody on there that is doing the DIY project that you are fucked up in right now, and you sitting there clueless. You
Just
know
for
what I'm
the hell of
saying?
it. Just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Just
Um.
be, just because they got this project to do.
Yep. So yeah, it's the simple fact that it's a resource, but it's not the answer. The chat joint. It's a resource, but it's not the answer. Sometimes you'll get lucky when you say, "Chat, tell me what's the best stock that I can pull in right away that's gonna make me a couple $1,000 from $200." It hit you in the head like, yo, because it's the information that is fed. Well, this is doing this and this, and if you follow it, it's going to happen. But it ended up being fool's gold because you know how the stock market is. You feel what I'm saying? You know how it ebbs and it flows because of you know what war's going on, what's going on with the political parties, or what it that's what it does. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
sit up there, and chat. Tell me how to do this and shit like that. This is surefire. They'll come back personalize it. This is surefire, Keith. What you need to do is move your money from here to there. And once you do that, within 2 weeks, it's going to double, it's going to triple in 3 weeks, right? So you sit there and you make the move, but then war against Iran or something like that. Then you're like, chat, I thought you told me, my bad, bro, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Well, you ever think about the fact that we have a war in the Gulf? Is that what's going on? And like, you motherfucker.
You, you poor gullible bastard. No, I a few times my use of it is very limited, man, because I have a fear of, I ask you the question and it answers my question in the first person, like, oh no, well, what I do is,
Yeah,
no, what the fuck,
yeah,
you a
yeah.
little too conscious for me, bro. You're a little too sentient. I don't like that shit.
That's what I'm gonna tell you. That's what draws you in. They personalize it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's a bank of information, but it's not the answer. Unless and it happens once or twice. Like yo man, if you take ibuprofen before you go to bed, your shit gonna be cool in the morning where you're gonna be able to move around. Because ibuprofen is the NSAID and it's gonna take all the information out of that joint. That's a right answer. And that's what you get from chat and from Google. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the feeling I get from using that shit, man, is the same feeling I get when a bill collector calls and using my first name. Hey, Uncle Folk, hey, what the fuck? How do you know this about me, man? I've never spoken to you face to face.
Uh,
I told the person
yeah,
one time, because I was fucking around with them because they used my name or whatever. But I've met you before. Well, no, sir, I'm just calling to try to clear up some things. But well, yeah, okay. First of all, I'll clear that up.
what was
But
that?
I gotta let you know, sir, that I only allow people who met me face to face to use my name.
Yeah,
Okay, so don't uh, take care of yourself. It's very hard for me to be polite, to those people.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very hard. You call you call at noon or whatever on a Wednesday and ask me if I'm at work. What the fuck? Ain't you at work on Wednesday at noon, motherfucker? Yeah, I'm at work.
yeah. All right. Well, look. Um, let's get into the topics of the day. I think it's interesting, and I'm definitely interested in what your take on things. First topic of the day is, and folks in the comments, if you will, please comment on these topics. We welcome whatever you have. Let us know. Talk to us. Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. You know how these people get spoke, where you do one thing, but then they come at you with the other bullshit. They put on a 10 second and then blank out. We ain't
Okay.
doing that. Yeah.
Uh,
This says,
how,
go ahead,
how much
Jabbar.
how much it costs us to keep it up there permanent?
I'm here. I'm privileged. Ain't got nothing to do with that. First question. Like I said, these are not deep. It's just we asking your opinion. We just going from there. Do we protect talent more than character? What is your opinion? And like I said, chat. You see that on the screen. If you want to chime in the chat, please chime in, and we'll go from there.
Well, I mean, my opinion, man. We are very likely, man, to uh, especially if you kick ass or something.
Uh-huh.
we're very likely to let a bunch of shit go. You know,
Okay.
in regards to character. You know? People, I mean, you know, people want people appreciate a firebrand, you know, in leadership or somebody who's opinionated he'll let you know. He'll let you know. Well, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of times, even though a person needs to know something, uh, it ain't the right time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, character is it has become, I'll say, uh, not a low priority, but it's definitely secondary to whether or not you kick ass at a thing or not.
Um, yeah, but I think the part is when I saw this, well, let me read what Eric says up here. Eric LaFleur. As a man, being lost is a mindset of fear, emotions, but for me, being alone makes me strong. I survived by trying. I was taught very well by paying attention to details, get resources by information. I don't get rattled anymore. I'm just more slow motion than ever.
'Cause that's what it takes, man. It takes slow motion. It takes time, man. It takes
Yeah,
cultivation. It takes tailoring.
yeah. I think that Eric was responding to what we were talking about earlier. But yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense, man. Good job, Eric. Good job. Do we protect talent more than character? I think it's the American way because honestly, I might think that in our community we might take it a little extreme. I'm thinking about R. Kelly. I'm thinking about Sean Combs. I'm thinking about other folks who done some things, but we still held on to them because of their artistic talent. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm be honest with you, it just didn't make sense. Like when I give you an example, when R. Kelly first, the tape first came out of peeing on the young lady and all this different thing. I never watched it, but I know many people who watched it, and they can confirm that that girl looked underage. And then when it came out that she was underage, his music was dead to me. It was dead to me. But over the years, before he got locked up in prison, how many times, Ja'Cory, did you hear somebody say, "Yeah, he flawed," for lack of a better word, he flawed, but his music is incredible. What the fuck is you talking about?
And people have
And
always
it's not, and I'm not passing judgment into them folks, but I'm like, don't you dare say that because with Aaliyah, this is when I let him go. Before he blew up to become R. Kelly, and him and Aaliyah got married when she was what, 15? I was done with him then. You know what I'm saying? So this is not bad R. Kelly shit, but that was a perfect example of what I mean by do we protect talent more than character? I think so.
I
I
mean,
think so.
it's entertainment, man. You know, has become so important, man. It's beneficial to do that. You know, we've always ever since art has become in whatever form or fashion or whatever our main source of entertainment. We've always separated you know the shiny product from the man.
Okay.
You said it yourself just a second ago, man. You sort of look sideways at people who still use that product. Like, hey, I don't think it's necessarily fair to do that.
And you know what my problem was? Okay, if you like him, cool. but people verbalize it loudly and then double down on it. I'm like, why do you need to double down? How'd you like to do? Fuck it.
because they feel some kind of way about it. Because they think it's a character flaw for them to still indulge in his art.
Whatever. I don't know.
You
But
know,
like
like
I said, go ahead.
I've seen like a few like a few reels like with him with P Diddy and I'm sorry, the Sean Combs. I've never called that man Puff Daddy. Well, when I found out his real name or whatever, I always called
Yeah.
Sean Combs. But I mean, with guys like that, who become infamous for whatever reason. Uh, damn, I forgot my point. My bad. Let me come
The
back.
point is, he fucked up. No.
Yeah. No, but when you find out, when something happens or whatever, some kind of scandal erupts or whatever, man, and you start to dissect their music and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's a wild thing, man. You know that
It's a wild thing.
they're talking about all their fucking proclivities and such. And it's right there. This song
All
was
right.
about this. This song was about that. And you're like,
Let, let,
damn, that
all
song
right.
came out. Yeah, that song came
Go
out when I
ahead
was.
and finish. Go ahead and
That
finish,
song,
man.
yeah, that song came out when I was in high school or whatever, man. And I was shit. I was in the back seat with so such and such for a little while, and it
Yeah.
came on and it set the mood or whatever. And bangs popped off, and that was a great song for me at the time. But
Yeah, but then
life
you realize that it was grown ass man. You're like, damn.
life just
All
came
right.
life came along and fucked it all up. Yeah.
Look. Rick James, you 17 and what that?
17, and I was in jail. I mean, shit.
Look, Keith Sweat. You're young, but you're ready. What fuck is
That's
going on with you?
like, man,
And this is me looking back at it. At the time, I wasn't a Keith Sweat fan, so when the song came on, I just raced past. Like, I don't give a fuck about this dude. You know what I'm saying? But yo, a lot of these cats, like BBD, oh my god, man, when they blew up, what's the joint, man? They main joint.
poison.
Yes. I'm like, yo, y'all got this over the airwaves,
That was
and it's
that was
blowing up.
that was a situation.
What was it? It was one line in it. It was talking about how young the girl was.
Mm.
You
But
know what I'm
then,
saying?
but then, well, me being around their age or whatever, when they were saying, I'm like, this is realistic to me because they probably chasing women the same age as they are, and I'm the same age as them, so it's cool. But
Yeah,
like the Rick James thing, Rick James was 35, 40 years old when he.
yeah. Then come to find out that he's a freak anyway. Even though Rick was my man, but yo, you was on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I think some celebrities, man, they get off on the fact that they're a lot different than the wholesome family friendly product that they put out.
Maybe, maybe they just weird. You know what I mean? You
That's
know what I'm
entertainment.
saying?
That's
Hey,
entertainment, man.
look.
That that's the
Jaquan,
art.
I say this all the time. You are artistic soul. I'm not saying that you exhibit weird behavior, but you are different in how you perceive things. So when it comes to actors, singers, and especially actors, because you being an actor, right, you have to take on a role and become that role. You know what I'm saying? So you have a different framework of thinking. It's not a bad way of thinking, but it's different. Like, yo, I got to become like Denzel becoming Malcolm X and Denzel becoming this. You know what I'm saying? Or these different Michael B playing twins. You're a different motherfucker to be able to do that and become convincing of it. See what I'm
I get
saying?
that. But I don't necessarily think it's got anything to do with quirks, though. I mean, that's just that's mimicry, man. That's all that is. I mean,
A talent, a talent. I say to you, artistic souls have a talent and an ability to do things other people cannot do and pull it off. But also, you being in that community, right? You ran into different, and let me say this correctly. You ran into different characters. Like some people that you worked with that were art actors and actresses, right? You couldn't put a gauge on who they were as a person,
not all the
right? But when they get into the role, they adapt the role completely. Then there's people like yourself who are normal people who can think that because of the love of it, we both have the love of it, right? But because of the love of it, you can sink yourself into the role and try to become that person, not have that person become you. Does that make sense to you?
it does. It does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I'm not trying to define your art form. All I'm saying to you is, I look at singers, actors, even rappers. I look at them differently as people because they are extreme personalities, and that's not in a bad way. They just extreme personalities. You feel me?
Yeah, but over the years, man, I've come to and it's not self deprecation or anything like that, man. But I don't call myself an actor because I haven't been anything. I haven't been in it in anything, man, since college, bro. What's going on?
I get that. You ain't got, but you still are part of the art form. So you know what I'm saying. That's the only reason I said it. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Corey.
I get that, but I just needed to clarify, man. Uh, I'm gonna be a performer in my soul, until the day I die. But
And that's all. That's all I'm speaking to more than anything.
it's like I believe personally I need to be flexing that muscle, and I haven't done it. So I
Yeah,
don't even know if I'll be the same person on the stage.
yeah. Damon,
What
how
up,
you doing
fellas?
today, bro? How you doing today, brother?
Oh man, today was a beautiful day, man. Feel blessed, feel complete. It was nice, man.
Yeah,
Sorry
glad
I
to hear
came
it,
on.
man.
Sorry I came on late, but I'm here. I showed up.
Look. We made your excuses, man. So you good. Don't even worry about
Yeah,
Good to see you, brother.
good to see
it. Hey,
y'all too, man.
if you want to chime in on this next one, because we can already move to the next subject. If you want to chime in, what's on the screen right now? Do we protect talent more than character?
I think so. You know what I'm saying? In terms of talent, man, it could be a positive or a negative thing. You know what I'm saying? Bad vibes sent out there, whatever. As far as character, you know what I'm saying? That requires somebody to be about who they are and what they're trying to represent in themselves and not be about clicks and not be about the bullshit. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it is about the character because hell, if you're about clicks and you rub me the wrong way, it don't even speak to our character, do it? They don't even broach the subject, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, okay. So let's do this. How was your day today, sir? How was everything going?
My day was beautiful, man. Me and my son went down to Adrian, man. We saw my coaches, both my coaches, man, and
Let them know exactly. Give us some details, man. They say you saw your coaches. You might be Tiddlywinks All American. But tell them what you did exactly.
Coach Fred Smith, at Siena University, and Coach Al Sanford, the assistant coach, man. Two guys, two men who guided me, you know what I'm saying, in my most vulnerable situations, man, and guided me to be the best I could be. And they didn't disappoint. And listen to them talk about me in front of my son, man, was like a whole nother level, bro. And
I'm glad to hear that.
he saw some things about me, man, that he appreciated it. And the thing that stood out the most, man, if I'm being honest, man, is how they was looking at him. And for lack of a better word, man, were they enamored with him? That's because they saw him and they saw me in my beginning stages 40 years ago. It was like, man, dude, that's you. You know what I'm saying? Man, he
Yeah.
looks exactly like you. He reminds me of you in the beginning stage. And then he carried himself, man, how he spoke, how he articulated himself, man. He didn't disappoint. I was proud of that, bro. Because I was in
Good.
front of men that I loved and admired. And it just flowed, man. It was a beautiful thing. And plus my teammate, my point guard, and all three of those guys told me to tell you guys, man, what's up. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing? Whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to make sure that I let y'all know that they wanted y'all to know that, you know, they were thinking about y'all and they said, hey, whatever, you know.
No, no, it's all love, man. You know me. You know. But
So
yeah. So it was a great experience for you then, huh? Just to go down and chop it up with him.
in this finalities, man, because you know my school is closing up, bro. So
Mhm.
we have to find some connective energy with each other, man, and what it means for us.
That's easy to do. That's easy to do. Pick a weekend, man. You know, 2 or 3 weekends a year to go have lunch or have breakfast, man, and chop it up with the whole crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. They tripped out, man, because this is a personal thing. They tripped out because they was like, yeah, man, you know, it's been each one of them, collectively is plus 50 years at that university. And they said, and how old are you, Damon? I said, I'm 60. And they blew their mind. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Blew their mind. And they was like, and then they got off into, well, how long you been in it been together? Next in October it'll be 42 years. And we've been together we've been married. We've been together 42 years, but we've been married 32 years.
Okay.
And that blew them out the water. It was like, no, man. Where did the time go?
I
You
mean,
know,
what you ended up doing was dating them. You dated them. Well, go ahead, dog.
right. Well, my assistant coach is 68. My head coach was 72. So
Yeah, they,
Senior
you
citizens, bro.
know,
Look,
yeah,
look, we on the verge of being senior citizens too, but that's crazy though, ain't it?
yeah, man. And crazy part about it, bro, is the things that they've been through transcends their age.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Both of these men both dealt with cancer and loss and all that shit, man. And they
yeah,
never was different. You know what I'm saying? Then these men spoke about what I meant to them, you know, and I was stuck. There's nothing I could say because I had some idea, but they started talking about personal shit. My hand got smashed and my woman and all these different things. You know what I'm saying? 40 plus years and they can remember details, bro. That's crazy. And
gotcha.
my son was there to hear all that, bro.
Yeah,
So I love them, man. I love them. They're special to me.
No doubt. I'm glad. Hey, look, I am ecstatic. You hear me? I am ecstatic that you got that experience and you you got a chance to be boo loved on. How about that? Fuck it. Corey,
I
let's do
wouldn't
that.
say I wouldn't
Boo love.
say that, bro.
Shut the fuck up. Don't even do that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Exalted. How about that? That's a
I
better word.
wouldn't say I wouldn't say exalted, but I feel the admiration, bro. Real talk.
Hey,
You know
hey,
what I'm
Oh,
saying?
hey, Keith, he sure is humble.
he humble as a motherfucker. He
Bro,
humble.
that's what
He
I'm
sure
saying. I
is.
was humbled today, bro. That's what I'm saying. I was humbled today. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt.
And
No doubt.
they said this it was a connective thing because they said it to my son, but
I mean,
they start talking about what they know about him, which
look.
let me
First of,
which
go
let
ahead.
me know
Go
that
ahead, Jamie.
they knew what I meant in terms of our interaction with each other, but they spoke about him, which let me
Yeah.
know they've been paying attention to his ass. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Look,
These
look, look, look,
they some hell of a they some hell of a man, man. They straight
low,
up.
low, low, low key. You know, me and Jaquari was there for real time in the situation. So we
Yeah,
do
yeah, I was
understand.
there.
We do understand everything that you accomplished, everything that. That's why I said. That's why I use the word exalted. You know what I mean? I was joking with you. I said boo loving, but it is what it is, man. You know,
And
you look at. Hey,
that's
Spo,
what
he too
that
macho to receive boo loving.
that's what they said when what did I say? I said I said something to Larry. Cause you know that's my brother, Larry. That's my
Right.
dog.
Yeah,
We've been up and through there with everything. I said
yeah.
something to him, and then both my coaches chimed in and say, I said, no, I said, remember Keith, you told me to tell Legs you said what's up?
Hmm.
I said, oh, by the way, Larry Keith and Corey said what's up. They chimed in. It was like, Keith, hey baby, tell Keith, yada 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 yada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I followed Keith's career. I did this and I did that. You know what I'm saying? So it was all love and respect and recognition, man. So that was my day, bro.
Very good, good, man. And like I said, I told you last night, take your ass up there and
I
drink it
know.
all and
Oh, I'm about to
get
piss you
drunk.
off, bro. I'm about to piss
Get
you off.
drunk.
No, I'm not gonna get drunk because they don't drink. I'm
No,
not.
I
I
said
wasn't
get
getting
drunk.
drunk.
I'm talking about get
Oh,
drunk
you talking
off
about
of the
on the feeling?
adulation. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was the. What was I about to say, man? You made me lose my train of thought. They said they was talking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they was talking about y'all, and I was so impressed because they 40 plus years later remember their interaction with y'all. And the only thing I could think about at the time was my son is hearing this shit.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we all connected, man, in that situation. All of us.
You think about it, I came up there for that summer and I played basketball with y'all. And when y'all went down to St. Cecilia, you know what I'm saying? I rode in the bus with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which you was the only one that had Benita. The only girlfriend that rode in the bus was Benita, which that was hilarious to me, Smoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm
Da-
not gonna argue with you because that was out of my
Damon,
hands.
Damon, you better shoot the ball. You better shoot the ball, Damon. No, but no, but for real though, I'm happy for you, man. That's some real shit. That's some real
Well,
shit.
it's like I said, it's all connected, man. Everybody got recognized, bro. Everybody did.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they were specifically saying, "Hey man, tell Keith this and tell Jaquay that."
Because I remember with Larry brother, I meant to ask you to tell Larry, to ask you about Larry's brother, because Larry brother was up there at the time.
Yeah, we talked about him too.
Yeah.
We covered all the gamuts. We talked about everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? My main motivation was to bring my son so he can,
Yeah.
Recognize what I said about these men, and they didn't disappoint, bro.
Yeah.
Incorporated with my brothers too, so that's very meaningful, man. It's very meaningful. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I absolutely had a great day, bro.
Good,
I
man.
did.
I'm ecstatic for you. I really am. Okay, on the screen, Jaquari and Damon. Tell me about this. It's been on the screen for the last 5, 10 minutes, but I did it on purpose so it can soak in, so y'all be able to look at it as we go. These are trivial conversations, just asking your opinion about a guy. We ain't trying to solve no shit, even though I know the brains on this screen could solve it or go a long way into leading up to salvation. But is the black community too loyal to celebrities? Is the black community too loyal to celebrities? So
Well, hell,
what
bro,
I liked what I liked about this question is it's not specific. It's talking about celebrities, period. But go ahead, Damon. What you gonna say?
what I was going to say, bro, if you're talking about are we too loyal and all that stuff, and then you speak on whether or not that's a good thing, man, that's individualized, man. That's each person's own personal experience, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because somebody might be on the outside saying, man, who do these people think they are? Well, somebody might be emboldened to say, you know what, they're speaking to my personal shit. And I feel a certain way about it.
That's the whole point. That's why it was brought up. Because like I
Okay,
said,
so
it is really a blanket statement if you really look at it. So
well,
whatever opinion you have is a personal opinion. And that's what we're
right.
speaking on. We speaking to today is personal opinion. That's it. It ain't, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'm following you.
So
I'm
is
following
the black community too loyal to celebrities? What do you think? What you guys think? Like I said, it's just your honest opinion. It's no more, no less than that.
My honest opinion is my honest opinion is, brother, there are certain people that don't deserve being listened to, bro. Because they didn't go through the maturation process, man. They don't know what it is in its totality. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you have to recognize how you affect people. You know what I'm saying? If I feel a certain way about some clown dude because he getting clicks and he's being, pushed out there in the atmosphere, in the ether, I might totally disagree with him. But I'm not going to shit on him because there's something outside of my scope that's working for him that needs to be heard. You know what I'm saying? You decide and determine whether or not that means anything to you. You know what I'm saying? And that is the thing, that's the auspice of it, brother. That is the thing that people have to recognize. Does this mean anything to me? Do you glom on with the bullshit, or you say, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back because this brother's saying something or this sister's saying something that's meaningful. And I'm gonna see how that incorporates in my life. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't need to be viral, bro. That's family shit. That's personal stuff. And it doesn't have to be viral. You know what I'm saying? I am not that guy who jump on making another brother look bad. I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't understand the ins and outs of what he's dealing with and what he's going through. I don't get it. And I might not agree with what he's saying, but he's saying that shit for a reason. It could be him being standing on this shit and being all about that, or it could be asking the question, am I wrong? You know what I'm saying? And that leaves and opens up possibilities of a person changing their frame of mind and their attitude about shit. And that's a learning growth, and that's a learning process, bro. But that's all predicated on that person, that individual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do that make sense?
I got you. I got you. So, chat, if you see this on the screen, please, you're more than welcome to throw it in the comments and let us know how you feel about this. Ja'Quari, what do you think?
I mean, celebrities, man, to the black community, they've always been our ambassadors, man. So, we made it a point to, whatever field or whatever they happen to come out of, we made it a point to make sure that whoever represented us in that field was on paper at least was the most polished and the most accomplished. You know what I mean? They're like in politics and stuff like that. I mean, what other community has as many athletes involved in political movements as the black community? I can't think of any really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've always been put in the forefront as gatekeepers. Like
were they forced to be up there as big gatekeepers, man? Because I kind of feel like that sometimes. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the duality of celebrity, man. You're our number one hope, our great black hope, so to speak, or whatever. But to the people who we're presenting you to, you're the safest. You're the safest bet at the moment.
Okay.
So I think like you take Michael Jordan into consideration. As influential as he is in all other things, he does not touch politics.
Which that's always been my thing.
But I think it's a reason for that, because we have no
But
idea. We have no idea
we-
what support he furnishes behind the scenes.
Right.
But we trust our, even though they're not capable of being in that political spotlight, we thrust them into it. We thrust them into it.
But what is it predicated on, man? Is it predicated on how you feeling that particular time, man? Man, I got seated on, so that's how what I'm presenting to the world. And if somebody can coincide and and agree with me, then I feel compelled to stand on my shit.
But
is that definitive though?
Damon, isn't that the problem? The example you just gave, isn't that the problem? With celebrities being human, and let me just say this. With celebrities being human beings and might have a bad day and might not be informed enough, will throw something out there even though they got people who looking to them because we're conditioned to be that way. They're looking for them for answers and they don't have answers, but they get compelled to speak on things and they regular human beings and they say shit and you be like, oh, you ain't have to say that. Perfect example. Well, we're going to get to him later, but LeBron James and the Memphis thing, right? But we're going to get to him later. But here's the thing. And Damon, I see it in your face. I know you have some comments on it. So we're gonna chop that up in a couple minutes.
I'm following your lead, bro. I'm listening.
But this is my point. The question, it's not a trick question. It's just more or less, is the black leaders, is the black community too loyal to the celebrities? Celebrities, and I spoke to this earlier, celebrities have a different way of thinking because they have a particular skill that they're great at. So that don't necessarily translate to the regular human condition in my eyes, the way I see it. So sometimes they'll say some stuff you like, whoa, where the fuck that come from? You know what I'm saying? And you have to go back to the well, they being human beings. They don't know no better. And I'm not making excuses, but they don't know no better as far as they don't know your plight in North Carolina, in Detroit, in Philly, in whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It all boils down to whether or not a celebrity gets into activism for the sake of activism or
Yeah.
an
Now
extension.
I would respect them more if they get into the activism part of it.
But that's a whole different category though. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody who's not in their feelings, man, and expressing their feelings and want people who agree with them to glom onto the bullshit. When you talk about activism, that's somebody who's talking about, okay, as a totality and the whole, as us as a people, we have to find common ground with each other. That's two different situations, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it.
It's a difference between activism for the sake of activism and activism for the sake of garnering more limelight. A lot of people at the forefront of important movements, man, have good ideas, but they don't belong.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. But the thing about it is, their ideas, they did the work to have those ideas, though. See, I respect that more. So if you jump onto somebody, now listen to what I'm saying to you. It's not disagreeing with you. I'm saying to you, it's a different phase of it. If you jump onto a situation, right, like Colin Kaepernick, right, he thought it was cool to kneel because it was brought to his attention what was going on, and it was something he could do, right? But then as it blew up more and more, he was not prepared for it because he didn't think like that. It was not an initial thought.
Well, I'm inclined to disagree in that specific scenario you
Why is
brought up.
that? Why is that?
It's because I think that he, in a neutral situation, decided to figure out how to protest. Okay, I'm gonna take a knee, and I think it took a army vet to tell him this is more respectful and all that stuff. That meant to me that he was looking for a reason or a way. Now he could have been radical as hell and be like, man, F this and F that, and this is how I feel. He could have been that guy and stood on that and be like, man, I don't give a damn about what anybody think. No, he was respectful because he followed this vet's lead to say, hey man, you know what? It would be more respectful to kneel. Whereas everybody can.
Hold on, damn it. It's the real time of it. It's the real time of it. He didn't ask the vet. The vet said to him, oh, I see what you're trying to do. And it is respectful if you kneel.
He interjected, right?
That was information he didn't know. You feel what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah. But how did he follow up, though? Did he respect the man?
Well, of course, he was respecting people from the giddy up. And see, that was my point. You think I'm trying? I don't want it to sound like I'm on that. Well, Colin didn't know what he was doing, type of thing. No, the simple fact that it got thrust upon him, the timing of it. Because me personally, your favorite person was the reason why motherfuckers turned on Colin Kaepernick was Donald Trump when he was tweeting all that bullshit.
Hold on, bro. Were you just throwing that out, or do you actually feel like that was my favorite person, man?
All right, Damon. Damon, we sitting here talking, man. Don't do that, man. We know exactly that
you said that was my favorite person.
We know, and it was sarcastic, man.
Okay.
We know you have
All right.
disdain for Donald Trump and the things that we do.
All right. Well,
People who watch us know how you feel about Donald Trump.
okay.
You understand what I'm saying? How
right.
I feel about Donald Trump. So
proceed, bro. But don't say that was my first person, man.
Wow.
You know,
look at you.
I'm just saying.
Look at you, boy.
I have so much contempt for that human being.
I get
that
it.
I had to clarify, bro.
I get it. But like I said, it's just more or less being caught up in situations where we give, unfortunately, because the celebrities, and we said this on podcasts in the past, celebrities are given too much responsibility because celebrities are accepted in the mainstream.
Okay.
You know, they really are.
Okay. Based on what? And based on who? Because I don't see them that way. I don't care. I don't give a shit about celebrities. Because I don't care. Because in my own personal life, I'm not enamored by these people, man.
Okay, but
you know what I'm saying? So my attitude about them can be subjective, bro.
Okay, so you are the exception to the rule, and some other folks are
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm saying
no. It has nothing to do with being special. It's the simple fact that you're a grown man and you're mature and you make your own decisions.
Thank you. Right. Thank you. That's all I was saying.
Bro, come on now. Stay with me. Stay with me because I'm not going to insult you. So here's the thing. Just to that example you just gave, which is a good example, right? But we have folks who hang on every word on every celebrity that they know.
What's the dynamics though, man? In terms of age-wise and all that, what's the dynamics, man?
It has nothing to do with ages, man.
Who hang on that?
If you have if you have a favorite basketball player, favorite actress, favorite actor, favorite musician, favorite anything, if they make you feel better if they follow the same politics that you follow, this as a whole in general. That's what I'm speaking on. I ain't speaking on anything else.
Okay, I'm following what you're saying, bro. You know, I'm not arguing against it, bro. Go ahead and finish your point.
I didn't think you was arguing against me. I was just telling you how I felt about it. That's all. Because you know,
anytime you interject something, man, people have an opinion about it, and that's the first thing that you explore. Okay, this man made a certain point. How do I feel about it? You know what I'm saying? That's interactive, man. You have to deal with it in real time. Now, some people can come to the conclusion that it's argumentative, but it's not. It's just people saying, you know what, but this, you know what? You might come to a conclusion that I ain't thinking about it that way.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But in interaction and having the conversation, and I don't mean being argumentative, but being exploratory, number one, and number two, just having the conversation. Damn, you said something I ain't thought about.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? How do you interject that situation into the conversation? You know what? I was standing strong on this, but he said something that made sense.
You speak authentically, man, and you just move on. That's it. Because sometimes, man, to me, in real time, I've been in moments that people changed my mind and have changed the way that I was thought about stuff.
Right.
I've been in those moments. So I've always reserved space for those moments. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
How do you usually react in that situation? Do you stand strong on what you feel and how you think? Because maybe you possibly feel offended or challenged or whatever? Or do you being recompensed and say, you know what? Oh shit, though, I didn't think about it like that.
But see that's what I'm saying.
And feel comfortable in that situation. I mean, do you look like an asshole?
That's my point, though.
Or do you have wisdom?
If I'm having conversation with someone, and we're expressing our feelings, right?
Right.
And of course, I'm going to tell you how I feel. But I work with things in real time. So if somebody says something to me, they were like, oh shit, I never thought about it like that. In real time, I say, yo, you know what? Tell me more about that. And I see what you're saying.
That's proper etiquette.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing about it. It's always, to me, it's always an education. It's always an education, no matter what.
Yeah, that's exactly how we was raised.
Yeah. So if somebody call me a punk or a bitch or a clown, right, in their statement, I'm going to take that personally because you took it personal. But if you disagree with what I said and you articulate why you disagree, I'm not going to take that personally. I ain't going to feel challenged because it's a mutual exchange of ideas. But when you think that you can insult me because you're trying to make a point, oh, I got a problem with that. That's all.
I think, man.
Hold on for a second. Go ahead, Ja'Cory.
That all speaks to individual maturity, man. Because if I'm riding a horse and I see I ain't getting nowhere, I'm gonna get off before I beat it to death.
I got you.
That's just me. Because we don't have to change each other's minds here. But I would appreciate if we could express our ideas, amicably.
Gotcha. I got you.
Let me ask both of y'all this question, man. And I'll listen to what y'all rebuttal to it. Have you ever argued with a person, man, where either you felt you was right or wrong or whatever, but the argument became a situation where it's just an argument and there's nothing to be gained from it? What do you do in that situation? Do you continue to stand on your shit, or do you how do you reconcile that situation with that person? Especially if you respect that person, how do you reconcile it, man? Because let's not get it twisted. We argue with people that we respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We argue with people that we respect, and it becomes something outside of the scope of respect. It becomes something that, hey, man, if you're trying to, you know what, man, you might be right, but you're trying to make me look bad. You can get off into those type of arguments, and they don't carry weight in any situation, bro. It's just two people arguing to not, it can come down to machismo.
I get it.
You trying to
Go
ahead, Ja'Cory.
There's ways to argue, man, because people who know me know that I argue just for the fuck of it, man. I mean, I enjoy the debate. I enjoy the back and forth, and sometimes I will purposely pick the more controversial side of the topic, and just see how creative I can be. I do that with people. I don't argue with strangers. I don't take that risk,
Yeah.
And when I argue, it's never personal. Never personal. It's never malicious, from my side. But if it starts to go in that direction, I know when to pull back.
I get it.
Yeah, I argue for the fuck of it.
I mean, I think if the person that I'm going back and forth with, arguing with or whatever, if they don't get personal, then I'm gonna stick to whatever subject we're talking about. Nothing more, nothing less. Like if I feel like they slight me some kind of way, and I won't try to dig up the smallest minute thing and be like, oh, wait a minute. No, if you try to play me and we just talking about some stuff, two things that I know occurred. The simple fact that I crowded your opinion where your opinion is getting ready to get proven wrong, right? And secondly, if you say something personal, that means that you have something with me that you don't like.
Right. You can get off into that.
Now, I really and truly am quick to address that. You feel what I'm saying? I'm quick to address it.
Well, aren't you deviating from the main topic of the argument that y'all get into? If you come to that conclusion, okay, you trying to make me look a certain way or feel a certain way. I'm saying that has nothing to do with the subject matter. It has everything to do with, okay, you being personal now. And that goes outside of the scope of.
In that situation, I wasn't one to start the deviation. I was playing fair.
Yeah, and I think the deviation, when it comes, I'm going to address the deviation. I really am. And look, this is no right or wrong. No, this is me personally. This is me personally. Because really and truly, if I don't get in a debate with strangers. So I'm not going to be in danger of being this certain way. I'm not going to go back and forth with strangers. I'm talking about, we talked about a particular subject and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. So if I'm with a friend and I detect a slight, I do two things. I shut it down. But if they double down because I shut it down, then I will address it. That's just me. That's my personal thing. You see what I'm saying? Because if I feel like, man, this shit is not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you repeat something twice. You know it's not going anywhere. Because if they repeat something to you twice and you repeat something twice, it's the whole discussion is not going anywhere. So I'll be like, all right, whatever. We good.
But through a casual conversation, you're going to repeat things twice. When things go awry, when things go awry, it's when you get personal, bro.
That's my whole point. I think when you start to repeat stuff twice, it goes into the personal realm, right? And I'm not. And when it comes, and see, let me tell you something. Small fry when it comes to talking sports. You know what I'm saying? That's small fry. So people gonna repeat 2 or 3 times constantly. You feel what I'm saying? So that's never gonna get me upset. But when it comes to a personal conversation, that's what I'm speaking on. A personal conversation.
Right.
My character and your character.
Especially when it gets into character.
See,
you're absolutely right.
Sports is no character in sports. You know what I'm saying? It is no character at all in sport. But when it comes to like just, and it's rare that I get in these conversations too, to be honest with you. But when it comes to you personally, how you interact with your family, friends, and so on, right? And y'all getting in this conversation, you detect, and that's what I want to clarify. When we talk in sports, you can repeat things all over again because you're a fan. I'm a fan. You feel what I'm saying? So fans are going to think what they think. But when it comes to personal nature, and people get heated and they say things to you, you can detect what's personal and what's not. That's just my point.
Well, here's the crazy thing, bro. Now, if you're talking about being a fan, being a fanatic, and you speaking strictly sports, you know what I'm saying? Are you wrong in your opinion?
No.
You know what I'm saying? You believe and you think how you think based on your observation and how you know what I'm saying, move forward in the situation. In terms of your argument, you can do that. Does that constitute the fact that you're wrong? I don't think so. I think that's just your opinion.
You're being a fan and you're giving your opinion. So there's no right or wrong in that, man.
Now, if you tell me that I think that LeBron is the best player that would ever, if I think he was the best player would ever, and you tell me, man, you a stupid motherfucker because this is the reasons why you're wrong, Then it gets into some personal shit. Because guess what? Guess what? If I am truly thinking about it, in terms of having those arguments, the nuances of having those arguments, it's always predicated on LeBron James and my man. It's always predicated on that. But if you ask me, okay, articulate what you think is the GOAT or whatever. For me, you know who it is? It's a man that played for Boston. It's him. You know what I'm saying?
Bill Russell. Yeah.
Bill Russell. Now, if you ask me, how did you come to that conclusion? Getting into the nuances of it, I could say, if you look at the history of basketball in terms of who is considered the GOAT, and this and that and that and this, who played against the GOAT the most? It was Bill Russell. That's who it was.
Gotcha.
It was Bill Russell. Bill Russell, in terms of the GOAT, in terms of the NBA playing against the best in the history of the game, Bill Russell played against another cat that was considered the GOAT more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? So if you break it down, that's what it, as far as me, that's what it is. Now, is Bill Russell or Russell Chamberlain my favorite players? Hell no, they wasn't. But if you break it down in terms of statistics, who played against the best in the history of whatever, it was Bill Russell playing against Chamberlain. Jordan didn't play against a motherfucker like Chamberlain. Neither did LeBron. You understand? And then when you look at Kareem, he lost against Chamberlain. So if you think about who is the true GOAT, playing against the best players in real time when they was playing, who was the best player playing against the best players? It was Bill Russell. That's what it was.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? And then we can get off it too. Man, well, this is my favorite player, and he excited me like, no, playing mano and mano, playing against one player, playing against the two best players that we consider GOATs or whatever in that perspective situation, playing against each other. It was Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain who played against each other in terms of championships. Nobody else done that like them.
I got you.
So who's the GOAT?
It's a matter of your opinion, man. I say that all the time.
And that's my point. That's my point. But if you was to ask me who my GOAT was or is, it's Jordan.
I got you.
But in terms of competition in real time and all that stuff, he don't even match. It's not even close. It's Chamberlain and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, because they played against each other. Nobody else done that in real time.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, I got all.
No. You did what you did, man. That's cool. This is a good segue. On the screen, it says, is LeBron James more than an athlete? This is the last question of the day. Is LeBron James more of an athlete or just protected? I'm going to let that sink in for a minute.
I already got my answer.
I get it. I think the reason why I picked this, because, going back to being fandom, being a fan of particular guys. And if you pro James, you understand why he left Cleveland, because he was there for 7 years. And they kept bringing in older guys, and it just shit wasn't working. So he decided that he wanted to play with guys that came in his same class. So that's what he did. And my opinion about it is LeBron, the way he did it, the way he announced it, That's where he messed up at. It looked tacky, whatever, right?
You
But
can't argue against that.
I think if you argue with this question, if say replace with LeBron with Jordan, is Jordan more than an athlete, or is he just protected? You mean you could put in all the great players and understand that there was some protection. Now, I think personally it's filled with a lot of folklore as far as, oh yeah, you know, they want LeBron to do this, and if LeBron goes back to Cleveland, then they're gonna have such and such here, and you know, that's folklore. You know what I'm saying? But when it becomes the face of the NBA, LeBron made it easier, because if he was doing stuff in the dark, it was in pitch black and nobody recognized him. He never got in any kind of trouble. Now, has he cheated on his wife? And there's been rumors about that. But as far as scandalous behavior, like Jordan never had any scandalous behavior either, except for his gambling. But other than that,
he has some scandalous stuff too.
That's what I'm saying. As far as I can understand, it was his gambling that people really focused on.
Right.
But other than that, you know, they never caught him cheating on his wife, even though he divorced, you know, his wife. But he never, you know, caught him doing any of it. You feel me? So with that question, real quick, and then we're gonna take it on home, guys. Is the LeBron James, we'll start with you, Jaquan. Is LeBron James more of an athlete or just What's your opinion, Jaquan?
Yeah, he
My
was,
bad, gentlemen.
No.
I know it looked like a train wreck, didn't it?
But go ahead, Jaquan.
Yeah, I mean, he's protecting now, but he wasn't always protected. I mean, as soon as he became, you know, I'll say a corporate entity, he became protected. You know, just like Jordan did, just like, you know, hell, Dwayne Wade did, Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell. As soon as a person, you know, black or white, becomes, you know, corporate. And corporate is not such a, you know, it's not such a bad thing, because I don't think it's hard as corporate, you know, but the money he generates is definitely corporate. So I mean, you know, his investment value outside of the black community is definitely corporately bolstered. So yeah, he's protected.
But but Jacoy, let me follow with this. Did he go into it that way, man? In terms of, you know, I'm the head, I'm the face of the league, and I have to protect this and that whatever. Did he go into it like that, or did that just fall in his lap, man?
Yeah, I don't think he, you know, really had a respected plan. You know, because when he came into the NBA, he was a child. Nobody expected him to you know, to surround himself with you know, gentlemen from his childhood. What did these upstarts, you know, what did these upstarts know about contracts and, you know, and how we do business in the NBA? But you know, he played basketball, and he let his team, you know, take care of business, and you know, it put him where he is today.
Okay, Damon, what do you think?
I think, man, that if I was to sit up here and say, you know what, he playing that from 16 years old up to the point to bring in his fellas and all that stuff, I don't think that was the case. I think that they took advantage of the situations, man. You know what I'm saying? And they were leaders in that situation. And they figured it out as they went through it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being an agent and being, you know what I'm saying, doing contracts and all that stuff, I think, man, that they figured it out. They figured that out along the way, and he just so happened to have people in that situation with him who said, "You know what? This is what we're going to try to do, all from the same city. This is what we're going to try to do, and this is what we're going to go with it, and we're going to take advantage of it." That's enterprising, man. That's enterprising. That should be something that's studied, man. How do you go from guys from Akron, Ohio, to the best agents and the best whatever in the league who dictate shit based on a guy who everything that comes to him is predicated on his talents? You know what I'm saying? It was something that they figured out, and nobody let anybody down, man. It just happened that way. There was you know what I'm saying? There was no, hey man, we're gonna trick these motherfuckers and we're gonna make them do what we do. No, they earned that, man. And they stood and all of them, what is it, 4 of them? All of them made it happen to the point doing their jobs that they was on top of the hill, and then everybody had to follow their lead. Nobody was deceived in that. That was earned, bro. And it just so happened they took advantage of it. There was no deception. It was just what it was. And, you know, they was all guys. They was all friends. You know?
Do you think he was the role model for the what they do in college?
NIL?
No, not the NIL. The other thing, portal.
You mean for the NBA?
I'm about to say, when you say portable, man, you talking about either NBA or NCAA. What are you talking about?
The general idea, period. I mean, because he basically, you know, chose another team to go to.
Well,
look, every chance he got the chance to leave, he left. So, but that's being,
you know what? Okay, but did he deal?
And there's nothing
right,
new.
That's just figuring that shit out. You know what I'm saying? We going to gain the system. That's what they did. He had nothing to do with NIL because he went from high school to pros.
Yeah, no, I didn't say NIL. I said portal. It's like, I mean, it's like his move. I think his move was the prototype for portal.
I mean, it makes sense if you studied it, yeah, Jaquar.
I think that he is the GOAT in that aspect, man, because he didn't fall for the bullshit. He gained the system. You know what I'm saying? He gained the system, and he led the way for cats to do it based on his talent alone. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man, to think that a high school player could have that much foresight, man. And then when things are going awry and it don't look good, and then when to blame him, what you blaming him for? Because he was smarter than you motherfuckers. And he had cats that had his back. Tell me where that shit happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, that's a template for people to follow. I was one of those guys who held it against my man when he went to Golden State. I held it against him. But then a very wise motherfucker said, yeah, he went to Golden State, but he was the man at that motherfucker. Am I gonna hold that against him? Remember, Keith, when you said that? Fluke, man, he went there, but he became the man there. You gonna be mad because he was smart enough to recognize that the pathway,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, people want to check and judge and say whatever. They don't say that shit in baseball. And y'all understand what the point I'm making?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kudos to him. He handled business, and he didn't disappoint. You know what I'm saying? It's a different story if he went there and they would have failed. It's a totally different story. It'd have been a whole different scenario, a different narrative. But he didn't. He got off, he got down, and he became one of the best motherfuckers in history for playing on one of the best teams in the history of the NBA. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Oh man, he cheated. No, he didn't. He was smart.
Yeah, people who say that, man, I'm like, I don't know.
Here we is growing up the way me and Keith and Corey grew up. Here we are thinking about, you don't go to the team, man, you don't go to the team, man, that whipped your ass. We did not have the understanding of the world, though, that, you know what? This shit can work out, man, if you do it right.
Yeah. All right. I know it's a short night for you, Damon. But
I had a great day, man.
Yeah.
I had a great day, and I capped it off with seeing my brothers, man. So, you know what? This is going to carry me through a lot of goddamn days, bro.
You're in the middle of the afterglow, so we're going to keep it going.
You see the glow?
Yeah.
And I ain't put no Vaseline. I ain't put no Vaseline on my face either.
Last word of the day, gentlemen. We'll start with you, Damon.
Last word of the day, man, is that, man, you trust you trust what you went through in terms of your trials and tribulations, man, and you trust your judgment, your better judgment. Win or lose, man, you trust your better judgment, and you ask yourself, you know what? I didn't compromise a damn thing. I stood on what I stood on, and the rest of the world is going to have to just accept that shit because it's my life, not yours. I'm saying, if you didn't even try, don't speak on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I'm making.
Jaquar.
Gentlemen, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation this evening. I look forward to the next. Y'all be safe.
Hey, Spo, he ain't hijacked your shit this time, bro.
That's why I ain't say shit. But look,
Hey,
we here next week.
Spo, that image, man, in my mind, Jaquari's face is ingrained in my mind. He was like,
I know. Phil,
I don't even want it no more.
Phil with pettiness and everything.
Oh,
look,
man.
it's a Strong Perspective podcast. Hey, go to our YouTube channels, like, share, and subscribe. We're here every Friday at 7:30. You enrich your life with what we provide, and we're gonna continue to provide it for you. This is Strong Perspective podcast. Have a great weekend.